Hey guys, and welcome to another brand new video. In this video, we have some even more bad news. Apparently today is just the bad news day when it comes to all the actual gaming industries going on, that we now have confirmation that E3 this year has been canceled. So if you guys don't know what E3 actually is, E3 is basically a live press event where they basically go and showcase up a bunch of cool games being announced, etc. And all these usually past few years, we have had Nintendo, Sony, Microsoft, basically going and saving a lot of really cool information to go and showcase up there. So new games, new game announcements. It's usually in the summer too as well, which is usually a really good midway point throughout the year for when it comes to events and actually showcasing new games, or even trying to go hype up games for the rest of the year and the holiday season. Now, usually I kind of feel like E3 has been getting a little bit outdated as well. And also we have a lot of things we'll touch about, at least in my opinion on it, but I want to at least go and tell you guys about the news. I would love to hear your thoughts down below, of course, as well. And overall, it's kind of surprising that the actual E3 live event is actually getting canceled. I think this is now the second year in a row. And I almost want to say it might even be more likely that even the future live events may also be canceled too as well, especially with all the coronavirus going on. So we'll go and sit back and talk about it. As usual, if you guys like these types of videos, definitely leave a like, comment down below your thoughts, and subscribe because we are giving away a PS5 for all the PS5 homies. We'll have some more PlayStation news all throughout the day. We'll probably have another video pretty soon too as well. So be on the lookout for that. And we always have our little sell links linked down below, the Twitter and Twitch and Amazon Weeble and all that stuff, if you guys want to make easy free money. Okay guys, let's go down to the actual article itself. And as I mentioned, this is kind of expected, but overall it's still very bad to hear, especially for the gaming industry as a whole. So let's go dive into this actual article itself. We usually have my webcam over on the left side, or on the right side over here, but let's maybe go on the top left for this one. Let's kind of see how this plays on out. E3's 2021 live event has been canceled, LA City documents claim. So it's kind of more so confirmation from the LA documents themselves. This article is from Video Game Chronicle, by the way. I've seen them a lot throughout the years, very reputable. So yeah, not too good. They will still have a digital show, but in terms of E3, I think most people usually agree when it comes to E3. The main importance part of that is more so the actual in-person show, as they've been trying to go develop throughout these past few years, more so as a gaming conference, because typically most of the heavy actual viewership came from other things such as Sony presenting new games, even maybe sometimes things like Nvidia and such that may have some press stuff available mixed on in, or even things from like Nintendo and Microsoft. But a lot of them have been slowly moving away from E3, and it makes E3 even harder and harder to be profitable and also keep on drawing attention. So let's go down in the article. We have a lot to talk about, and I would, like I said, love to hear your thoughts down below. So E3's physical event for 2020 has been canceled according to Los Angeles City documents published this week. In a new report published by the Board of Los Angeles Convention and Tourism Development Commission, a sales update lists E3 2021 as a canceled live event, which is also, for me as a gamer, kind of makes me sad to go and see. The document states that the convention board is working with E3 organizer, the Entertainment Software Association, ESA, on broadcast options at the Los Angeles Convention Center at the nearby LA Live Complex. The city board also claims it's working on a 2022 and 2023 license for E3, which is good for long term, but if you mainly have a show / conference, think like PAX, if you have 2 years of no profit when that's your major event of the year, that's not looking too good. Sometimes even live shows can sometimes subsidize it, but when it comes to actual proper like convention, you need that money. And this is not good if it's 2 years in a row, maybe even possibly 3 years, depending on next year. The cancellation will mark the second year of the row that E3 event has been called off due to the coronavirus pandemic. As exclusively revealed to VGC this month, the ESA has been pushing forward with plans for a digital E3 event this summer, but it still requires the backing of major game companies, which I want to go and touch on really quick over here. That's not good. So if you guys have maybe been kind of following up, or you guys like all the gaming stuff, E3 has been very, very hard for them to keep on drawing in new viewership, and they mainly were trying to go transition more to an actual convention, which would make sense. It's somewhat of a household name when it comes to actual gaming, but we've kind of also seen that a lot of these companies are realizing that they're getting their viewership on their own. You guys can kind of go and tell us from say the Sony State Plays or even Nintendo Directs. Realistically, they do not need to go and plan around E3. E3 back in the day when it was more so just on TV, etc., I could see it having a lot more merit because a lot of people always used to grow up on E3. They get hyped up for it. A lot of game developers are going to there too as well, a lot of game media. But now I think a lot of major companies such as Sony, Microsoft, and Nintendo realize that they're going to get the views regardless. And I think that was really evident because even I think on 2 years ago or so, when Sony had their own event around the same exact week, they still pulled pretty much the same amount of numbers without having to factor in on E3 at all. And they did their own live show as well, which was very, very well received. And you guys could also even see as well from the State of Play or even Nintendo Directs, Pokemon Directs, they get a lot of views. They end up on trending. People will be making articles on them, YouTube videos on them, tweeting about it either way. And they don't necessarily need to have this middleman such as E3 to go and bring attention to it anymore, especially with the digital age now with Twitch, YouTube, and everything else being so fast and instant. So that's not a good sign for E3. Like, first of all, especially when it comes to actual digital E3, what are they even going to be showcasing? Because a lot of game companies don't want to be really waiting for E3 unless they're maybe smaller indie games or something more specific. And typically, as we've mentioned, most of these other major places can just get their viewers on their own. Think like NVIDIA. NVIDIA could just make their own stream, be fine. Think Sony, own stream, their own fine, as we just touched on. So very interesting to go and see. Now, the actual dates over here, if you guys are curious on this, E3 2021, June 15th. Comes to that, though it was canceled over there too as well, but they may also be possibly doing something for this when it comes to the actual live event itself, as we mentioned. And also they are trying to go get their 2022 and 2023 license, which I'm a 50-50 on. I would actually love to hear your thoughts down below. I kind of feel like conventions are not going to be in full swing by then. I mean, I might be wrong, but I think even just a year from now, I think it'll be too hard to go maintain and too hard to actually make happen. I don't think it's going to happen. Or if it does, it'd be very limited and probably not even profitable, especially if you have to go and rent out a massive convention center. So according to E3 2021 pitch documents sent to game publishers and seen by VGC, the ESA has outlined its proposals for this year's event, which would see 3 days of live stream coverage held during the previously announced dates of June 15th to 17th, which is once again 3 days of straight gameplay stuff, of talking with devs. Some people are into it, but that's not what I like to see. I like to see new games. I like to see Sony, Microsoft, Nintendo talk about new games, or like, new GPUs and other announcements mixed on in. The broadcast event would be supplemented by media previews the week before, as well as demos released on consumer platforms. That's like okay, but not what I'm really hoping for. However, the E3 2021 plan still requires the approval of ESA's membership, which is made up by the industry's biggest game companies who have shown significant influence over the direction of the show. Kind of how I was saying before is that they want to go be showcasing up certain games or smaller indies, they will, because people like, Sony and all of those major big players or even big game developers, EA, Ubisoft, etc., they have the leverage, they get the viewership. E3 is the one that wants to get it overall. So in terms of all that stuff, E3 doesn't really have the leverage. The ESA was already facing significant pressure to reinvent E3. As I mentioned before, they're more so trying to go push it towards a convention, think like PAX, etc. But as of right now, with the coronavirus, you just can't make that happen. With several major publishers, including EA, Sony, and Activision, having abandoned the event, as we touched on earlier. See, I know what's up, in recent years, and that was before the 2020's cancellation. So yeah, that was even just like 2019, if anything. After which many companies such as EA and Ubisoft enjoyed success running their own digital events. Kind of what I was saying is that they don't need E3 anymore. Back in the television age, maybe, but as of now with the internet, with Twitch, YouTube, they don't need E3 anymore. E3 needs them. Multiple games publishing sources have told VGC that they were working under the assumption that the physical event would not take place this year, which is kind of a given. I'd probably assume that. In a statement issued to VGC, the ESA said it would be soon share exact details on this year's E3 and claimed it was having great conversations with developers and publishers, but would not confirm who has signed up for the event. Probably no one that we really kind of care about, in all honesty. I mean, maybe I might be wrong, but we can see. We can confirm that we are transferring the E3 experience from 2021, and we'll soon share exact details on how we're bringing the global video game community together, an ESA spokesperson said. We're having a great conversations with publishers, developers, and the companies across the board, and we look forward to sharing details about their involvement soon. So overall, not the best news so far. To wind on the article, and I'll give my final thoughts. Commenting on VGC's report, former Nintendo of America's boss Reggie Fils Anime, I know his name's not anime, don't judge me, said this month that he believed that ESA needs to act fast if it is to save the historical games event, which I agree, 2 years in a row, when most of your profitability probably more so comes from the actual convention itself, that's not good. That's not good at all. And especially with everyone, as you guys keep on mentioning, that a lot of people want to go to their own events themselves, there's no reason for E3, especially now if they're losing money every year. Speaking of Gamertag Radio, Phil's Anime said he saw reports about E3 returning digitally in 2021 and wasn't enthused. I have to say that what I read doesn't sound all that compelling. Me either, honestly. If I were king for a day, I'll tell you how I would do it, he said. I do think doing this digitally is absolutely right, and the reason for that is there are more than 60,000 people who would typically attend an E3. There are millions more interested in finding out what's going on, and executing an event digitally is the best way to bring that to life, so that's the right track. I would say on the opposite. I mean, I think either way you should do both as a company, and it might be harder to do an in-person one right now, but overall, you need to make money. If you're a company, you need to make money. So it's not really that good when even like we have Reggie, big boy Reggie from Nintendo saying, yeah, this is not looking good. I myself as a gamer, streamer, YouTuber, whatever, I don't even think I really care that much about E3. I care more about what all the major big boys, Ubisoft, Sony, all these places, Microsoft, all of them, Nintendo, that's like what I care more about overall, because I want to see what they're announcing. I don't really care about E3. I've always had fond experiences of E3, and I'd be a little bit sad if in the future it gets canceled. But overall, we've kind of, I think, as a society of gamers, kind of moved on and more just want to see the games, want to see the trailers, or if they want to, they can host their own event. Because in all honesty, is there really a major difference between showcasing up a Sony event a week from that week? Not really, no. And maybe sometimes it's even better because I have more information to go and show. Or they can go and polish up their own event, or I have to compete with that a whole other group of weak people too as well. Because sometimes even marketing-wise, it's better to go do it on a month where no one else is releasing stuff, because then you get that primary focus for that few weeks or so when it comes to YouTube content, or news articles, like gaming websites, all that stuff. So at least in my opinion, I think it's kind of bad that E3 is getting canceled. I've always liked E3, but in terms of live shows, it's smart with the coronavirus, but also for a digital show, we'll have to see how it kind of plays on out. I'm not too intrigued and I'm not too hyped up for it, but we can kind of go and see how it plays out overall. Well, if you guys enjoyed, I would love to hear your thoughts down below. As well, leave a like if you guys made it this far. Make sure you guys are subscribed for the PS5 giveaway. We always have our little sellout links with the Amazon PS5, the Twitter and Twitch. If you guys want to go and follow the Weeble, sign up for Weeble and deposit $100. You guys go get free stock and free money. And Coinbase, if you guys buy $100 worth of any cryptocurrency, you guys go get free Bitcoin. Those are always linked down below. Hope you guys all enjoyed. And it's a little bit sad to see about E3, but at least on the bright side, maybe we'll get some cool games either way from all the other big boys in town. Love you guys all so much for watching. I'll see you guys up in the next one.